Claims that William Lane Craig makes about the slaughter of the Canaanites force him into a dilemma. Craig argues that the Israelite soldiers who were forced to carry out the horrific killing of innocent children didn't harm them, didn't wrong them, because there were these other great goods that came out of it. And one of those great goods is they were taught an object lesson in terms of the brutality of the slaughtering of the innocents, taught them the lesson that, hey, you don't mess with Yahweh and you need to be holy unto me and set apart. You can't intermix with these other people. Now, there are several problems with this, but the first problem Craig himself notes, namely that carrying out such a command, as we know from war and PTSD studies, just has a horrific impact on the soldiers who have to carry out such brutal innocent killing of innocents, especially innocent children and infants. So it harms their psyche, it distorts their capacity for compassion, leads to PTSD and other psychological trauma, leads to spiritual trauma, and so on. So Craig would have to argue that the harms, the spiritual harms and the moral injury caused to these Israelite soldiers can be outweighed by this other good, which is this object lesson. But in order to get the lesson, you have to go through the injury and the trauma. So you can make a case that if you get the lesson of, hey, you got to be holy unto God and so on, that then you get the moral injury. Those two are linked. Now, let's say that you could have non-trauma inducing killing of innocents somehow, such that the soldiers wouldn't be wronged because it's not traumatic. Well, then you miss the object lesson, because again, it's the very gruesomeness of the killing. It's the very sort of brutalizing effects it has on the soldiers that produces the object lessons. So if somehow they could carry this out without the trauma, they also wouldn't likely get the lesson. So Craig is stuck in a dilemma. If he wants to say that the soldiers aren't wronged, then we can show a case whereby them carrying out the brutality to get the lesson, they actually are wronged because they're morally injured. And then if they somehow avoid moral injury, then they forego the lesson. Which is it, Dr. Craig?